So you're thinking about moving to Plano, Texas, but you want to know the good and the bad, the yin and the yang, the pros and the cons of living in Plano, Texas. Well, that's exactly what we're going to cover in this video because we get questions all the time. You know, people are looking to make their move to Plano, and a lot of times their question is should it be Plano or Frisco or Richardson or Prosper? So they're usually doing a comparison of all of the areas, you know, right around that North Dallas area. So, you know, we have to have that discussion with clients all the time. And so we thought we'd just, you know, let you know up front what's the good and the bad. That way, whenever you do give us a call, we can get a little bit more in depth on the real estate side of it and what exactly will fit for your family. But that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video, and we're going to get after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is about living in Dallas, Texas and the surrounding areas like Plano, well, subscribe below, tap the bell for notifications so you can be the first to learn about the current market here in Dallas. My name's Levi, you know, my partner Travis, the team and I, we get calls, text, emails every single day from people just like you and you and you and you looking to make their move to Dallas, and we love it. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. Happy to help you make that smooth move to Dallas. So as I mentioned, we are talking about Plano though, Plano, Texas. Plano's just north of Dallas, about 15 to 20 miles, and it is a straight shot up either the Tollway or 75. And it's just south of Frisco. So that makes Plano very easy to get to. And I would say that would be one of the very first pros, is centrally located. So Plano, again, being directly south of Frisco, and of course Frisco, one of the most sought after suburbs in the area. And you might say to yourself, well, why would I want to move to Plano if Frisco's the most sought after? Well, it just happens to be that way, but there's nothing wrong with Plano at all, except for the cons we're going to share with you in this video. But otherwise, Plano's a great location. There is a ton of corporations moving there, and where they move to is right at that border of the Tollway and 121, where Plano borders Frisco. So really you couldn't go wrong either way. But if you're going to be commuting to Dallas, Plano is going to be an easier commute to get down there versus Frisco. Now, you know, give or take where you live in Frisco, that may add an extra 5 to 20 minutes on your commute. But otherwise, you know, if you live in Plano, most likely if you are on the west side of Plano, that's a little bit more pricier than the east side of Plano. A lot more newer development over there versus the east side. But if you're going to be traveling to downtown Dallas, then that would be a con of living in Plano on the west side, is that the Tollway is going to be your main highway that you're going to travel either to Frisco or to downtown Dallas. Now, if you're traveling, maybe your company will reimburse your tolls or something. You don't have to worry about that, but otherwise that could add up and could be an additional monthly expense for you if you're going to be commuting to downtown Dallas on a regular basis. So that you want to keep in mind. Now, if you live on the east side of Plano, then you're going to be closer to 75. 75 is not a toll road. It is just direct access to downtown Dallas. It's also will get you direct access north, heading up towards Frisco, towards McKinney, towards Prosper. You can go that route as well. And you'd have to go all the way to 380 though if you don't want to hit a toll road to get over to Prosper. But otherwise, you know, Plano's centrally located, and depending on which side, you know, tolls could either, you know, if you're not worried about that, then it's not a big deal. And the toll road is a lot more convenient. So that is a pro of the toll road, is a lot more convenient, and less traffic, is not as bad. 75 does get backed up quite a bit during the rush hour, both going down to Dallas and coming back up to Dallas. The toll road can still have a little bit of traffic, but it's a lot less, of course, because a lot of people try to avoid the tolls. So it's a catch-22, right? So that would be one of the pros, and you could say and cons of living on the west side of the Plano, is the toll road. But I tell you what, if you're a foodie, then this is, you know, Plano's going to be a great option for you to live to. And if you like to go out and have a diverse selection of meals, then Plano is definitely it. There's even over in Legacy West, there's one, it's called Legacy Hall, and it's got, I think, 50 different restaurants, probably a little bit more than that. Haven't done the exact count, but over 50 different restaurants, pretty much from every culture in there as well, and that you can choose from, all in one location. They do bands, and in the back, they have an open seating area in the back, but they've got bars inside, restaurants, everything you need. And then you can just take your food outside if you want. And they've got a whole patio, or not even a patio, or it's more like a lawn area. And you can watch bands. They have live music, random nights of the week, usually on the weekends. Really fun place. And then you're in the middle of Legacy West as well, which is a great option. And that would take me to the next pro, which is going to be the shopping. Plano is very well known for its shopping. Willow Bend area, the Willow Bend Mall and Shopping Center, one of the most well-known and you could say high-end shopping centers, kind of what they would call that old money. It's directly across from the Willow Bend neighborhoods. And of course, the Willow Bend neighborhoods, some of the top neighborhoods in all of Plano, some of the biggest lots and the biggest homes. And that's next to Glen Eagles Golf Course and Country Club, which is one of the best golf courses in the whole area. So, Plano is what we would describe as a lot of that old money in the Dallas area. But that would take me to a con of Plano, which is dated real estate. And that's what a lot of people don't typically like about Plano is dated real estate. Now, here's the key. There's not a lot of new construction happening in Plano. You will find some pockets here and there, but otherwise, if you're looking for new construction, it's likely going to be custom new construction. If you find a home that you want to move into, it's probably not going to be updated from the 70s or the 80s. So you'll find these, especially like in Willow Bend, you're going to find beautiful homes, large lots, but it's either going to be a complete teardown or a complete gut job most of the time. Now, of course, if somebody's done that in the last 5 or 10 years and they go to sell that property, you wouldn't have to worry about that. But a majority of the time, people stick around in those areas. And that's a lot of the case for a lot of the Plano area, especially on the east side. Definitely a lot older and dated. Now, West Plano there along the toll road, you have a lot more newer construction and newer buildings, but you don't see the large new construction communities like you see in Frisco and Prosper, where it's, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of homes. Plano's pretty well built out, and that was done a lot in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. So whenever you're looking to buy a home there, there's likely going to be some updates, or it's going to need to be completely updated, or you're going to tear down. A lot of people do that, especially in the Willow Bend neighborhoods. I love those old homes, but I would prefer a gut job, but a lot of people would say like, nope, we're going to tear that down and just build the new modern transitionals or the modern Mediterraneans. That's a lot of the style that happens over in that area. So, and if you look at Plano as a whole, it is more dated than definitely Frisco. Frisco's really been built up in the last 20 to 22 years. So in Frisco, old is considered like the early 2000s. In Plano, 70s, 80s, even some 60s there, depending on the neighborhood. That's considered a little bit older. So from a real estate standpoint, that's what you're looking at. But going back to a pro, very well established communities. And whenever you go through Plano, lots of mature trees. Huge trees, mature, well-developed neighborhoods. Everything looks good, as to where if you go into Frisco, you can find a lot of, new trees and neighborhoods that have, hardly any landscaping, because it's going to take them the next 10, 20 years to grow through that, because they've just recently built that community. Where anywhere in Plano, very established and more of a neighborhood feel, a lot whenever you go down those neighborhoods. Just think about, the way you probably grew up, just older established neighborhoods, and that's it. So that would be a pro if you're looking at it from that standpoint. Well-developed, well-established neighborhoods, and that would be something to look forward to. All right, another great thing about Plano is going to be the school system. According to niche.com, greatschools.org, a lot of these other rating websites, Plano has some of the top rated schools, not just in Dallas, but in the state of Texas. And so also, of course, being in Texas, high school football, Friday night lights, that is the real deal here. And Plano has some of the better high schools when it comes to sports. Really nice, very well established, good cultures in those environments, well diverse, and that's just something that people really enjoy about Plano. And there's several high schools scattered throughout, and so you have options just depending on where you live. You can take a look, and then of course they do have a couple of private school options over there as well. But ultimately, you can go on to something like greatschools.org or niche.com or some of the other rating websites, and you can dig in a little bit more into the stats and data of each of those schools. So if there's something that's more important to you than what most people are looking for, or you're looking for something specific in those schools, then that's one way to go and check that out and see what may be a good fit for you and your family. But overall, Plano schools are very highly rated, and they do well in academics and sports and a lot of the things that are very important to parents. And so I would say the school system in Plano, a big plus. All right, and another pro of living in Plano, Texas is going to be the parks and the entertainment and fun things to do around there. So one of my favorite areas in all of Dallas is the Oak Point Park in Plano, and that's well over around 850 acres. That's a lot, all right? 850 acres. You can go there, you can hike, bike, run, jog. I mean, you can have picnics and all kinds of things you can do in that 800 acres there. They've got it well trailed for biking and hiking, walking, paved, non-paved, treed, not so treed, things to do. Lots of things that you can go zip lining, all kinds of stuff. I mean, they got some activities that you can do inside of there. And then there's several parks throughout Plano as well to have and enjoy, to do some fun and play around there. But also you think about entertainment, I mentioned Legacy West and Shops of Legacy. That all around the 121 and the Tollway right on the border of Frisco. I mean, amazing area. Actually, we were over there just the other night for dinner with a business associate, met up with them at Kai, which is one of the best sushi restaurants over there in Legacy West. And actually, you should go check out our video on the Windrose Tower. We just did that video on the Windrose Tower. That's in Legacy West. We actually started out walking down the street there. You will see, and we passed right by Legacy Hall, and that Windrose Tower right there, beautiful, beautiful condo building. The penthouse we showed you was $5.1 million. Absolutely amazing. So definitely check out that video. But think about if you wanted that condo living, you wanted that downtown living without actually being downtown, then that's where you would go. You would actually go down there. You could just go down, walk out, and have a good time. And you would just walk out there, and you'd be right there at Legacy West. You've got shops, restaurants, bars, the theaters over there. I mean, everything you absolutely need concentrated into a very small block area that you could walk to. Now, if you want to get over to Shops of Legacy, you'd probably want to take a car or an Uber ride over there, but still very close and very convenient to get to. So that pretty much gives you a good summary. I mean, we could go on for hours and hours and hours about Plano. A lot to do there, a lot to have fun, a lot of outdoors things, a lot of indoors things, plenty of shopping, restaurants, bars, diverse restaurants, bars. I mean, you have it all, but there are a few downsides depending on the real estate, whether you like dated or, if you wanted to find something, probably gonna have to tear it down, maybe go through the construction process. But, it just depends. These are the types of things that we like to talk through with our clients whenever they're looking at Plano, or even comparing that to Frisco or Prosper or some areas like that, McKinney. We just like to talk through that. So hopefully this gives you a good idea. Just a quick overview of the pros and the cons of Plano. Overall, it's one of the best areas in all of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So you can't go wrong living there, we believe. But also, it's got to be the right fit for you and your family. So the main thing is just give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. We're happy to help you make that smooth move to Dallas. And until next time, well, we hope to show you around town.